right, so let's get started. This is a review, just a reminder to going over all the test review so you know what to prepare for the quiz tomorrow, Tuesday. It's going to be 8 questions on it. These are similar. There is a first few questions, says write the location, which is the quadrant or the X or Y axis. Okay, and the ordered pair for the following points. Just as a reminder, it gets numbered starting here. This is the number 1. You can use it either way to say it. This is 2. This is the 3rd quadrant. And this is the 4th quadrant. A lot of times, it is written with Roman numerals, but if you need to write it in normal numbers, that's okay too. All right, so let's get started. The very first letter is C, that we're finding what quadrant it's in. C is right here. It's in the 1st quadrant, so I would write a 1. Ordered pair, to find C, I would go over 2, up 4. So my ordered pair is 2, 4. We always start with the x-axis first. We always go left or right first, and then we go up or down. L is our next letter that we're looking for. Sorry, I'm gonna delete this. L is down here. Okay, so in order to get to L, I'm gonna have to go over to -4 and down to -4. And this is in the 3rd quadrant. So I would put a 3, forgot my other parentheses. And this is -4, -4. All right, let's go to our next point. B is in boy. Let's find B. It's right here. It's in the 4th quadrant. And to get to B, I would have to go over to 2 and then down to -4. So this would be 2, -4. F is my next one. Excuse me. F is here. All right, it's not in any quadrant. It's right here on this axis. And if you can't remember, look up here. It tells me it's the y-axis. So I'm going to just put y-axis because it's not in a quadrant. And then to do my ordered pair, I first have to decide. I start always at this point, which is the origin, 0, 0. Can't go left or right. I just stay right there. So my x number is going to be a 0. But then I go down to -3. Right. See, I had to go down to -3. All right, let's go to our next one. J. J is right here, which is in the 2nd quadrant. Forgot my line number again. To get to J, I would go to the left, -1, and then up 1. Always use the X number going to left or right first. So it's -1, 1. Last letter is E, which is right here. So the first thing I do is start at the origin, and I go to the left to -3. And then I don't go up or down. I just stay right there. So that's a 0. So let's go back and look at the location. It's on the x-axis. So I would put x-axis for this one. Okay, question 2. Graph and label the following points. A, still bothers me, I forgot to do that. A is at -3, 5. So we start at the origin, go over to -3, go up to 5. And I'm going to put the dot, and it says to label. So that's what I need to, I don't want all that to go away. Uh-oh. I'm going to erase real quick and then do this again. -3 and then up to 5 and put an A. Next point is B. I'm going to go to -4 and then a -1. So I go over to -4 and I go down to -1. And this would be B. And if you want to keep your lines on there, you can. You don't have to. I just do that to make sure you know what I'm doing. Our last point is C, which is over 1.5 up to. So on this one, I'm going to change my color here. Going over 1.5. So over 1.5. So it's between the 1 and 2, and then I have to go up to the 2. And this is going to be point C. All right, you will be expected to be able to add your points for question 2. Question 3 says, write the coordinates of point P when reflected over the x-axis. So reflection is just basically you're going to, let's come over here, find point P. So we're just looking at this one, not any other ones, just point P. These are as if you want to practice. And it said reflected not over the y-axis, it said to go reflect over the x-axis. So it just means we're going to reflect it. So if it's on the -2, then we're going to go to the +2 on this side. Its coordinates, because it does ask, write the coordinates. Oh, let's wait a second. Hopefully it'll get back. Or not. Okay, so point P is here, and I reflected it to the other side. Either way, I'm going to have to go to the right to 3. And the reflection, I have to go up 2 instead of down 2. And so that is my reflected point across the x-axis. Okay, this one's a little trickier. It says choose all pairs of points that are reflectors of each other across both axes. I'm going to come back up here. I want you to understand that the only difference between point P and point P's reflection is that the y-coordinate is its opposite. So P was 3, -2. So understand that these were opposites of each other. The y-coordinate was. So for all of these, we have to choose points where both the x-axis, not x-axis, the x-coordinates and the y-coordinates are opposites of each other. And we know what an opposite is. Same number, same distance from 0, just on the opposite side. So let's start and look at this first one. It has 2.25 and -2 1/4. These are actually equivalent. They're the same number, but opposites, so that's good. Our x's are the same. Doesn't matter if one's a decimal and one's a fraction. Still the same number. And then this is a -4, and that's a 4. Those are opposites. So it meets the criteria. X's are opposites of each other, Y's are opposites of each other. So I will select that one. Then I'm going to look at the next number. Going to my next one because I got to check. It says choose all pairs, so there may be others. So I'm looking at my X's. I see a negative, or no, I don't see any negatives, sorry. I see a 1 3/4 and a 2. Even though there's a 1 3/4 here, that doesn't count. We're looking at both X's, and they're not the same number. So no. We can go to the next one. 3.5 and a 3.5. Same number, not opposites. So this is a no. Don't even have to look at the other one. It's not it. That makes it easy. I like that. Let's look at this one. Make it yellow. This is a negative 3.5. That's a 3.5. Yay, they're opposites. That's good. So now let's look at the y-axis, or y-coordinate, excuse me. This is a 1, and that's a negative 1. They're opposites. Both are opposites, so I'm going to select that one. Okay, we'll go to our last set to check. We have a 5.2, or 5 2/10, and that's 2 5/10. Not the same number, so doesn't count. So we've got that one done. Okay, question 5. Find the distance from the water slide to the restrooms. 1 square equals 1 decimeter. Okay. So, water slide to the restrooms. I made that too crazy. Okay, so if we look at this water slide and the restrooms, you'll notice they are right on the dots. Now, easy way to do this, and since you may want to be in a hurry, this one you just may want to count. I noticed that from here, like this is 1 unit, or 1 decimeter. It tells us up here. Go back up, see? 1 square is 1 decimeter. So we can literally, on this one, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 decimeters. Now, I'm going to give you a hint that on your test, or your quiz, you're going to have fractions. So let's pretend that there are these 2 points here, just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. This is it. Actually, I don't like that. Let's change the size of our dot, our thickness. Maybe that's better. Let's see. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. And we'll make this A. Oh, I'll come back here. I'll make this B. And we want to know what this distance is. All right, so this one. If I was looking at its coordinates to write its the coordinates down, this is a -5 going over and then going up. I don't even go up a whole one. I go up a half. See that? But I'm going up. All right, so on this B, still going over to -5, I'm going to go down over. Okay, so it's -2, but I don't make it to -3, but I'm close. And I'm going to tell you that I'm not going to do anything more than a fourth. But this is over 2, over 2.5. So this is going to be over -2 3/4. And now you got to figure out what that distance is. Okay. Actually, this should have been a little bit closer here. So, just as before, we've done these before. That just shows they're on the same line. So we're going to take the one that's farthest from 0, which is this one. So we'll take the absolute value of -2 3/4. Sorry, that should be an absolute value sign, and this one should be a half. And then I have to look and say, well, what kind of sign? I mean, do I add or subtract these? And I notice that we have different signs, so we're going to add the 2 distances. So we're going to take 2 3/4 and add my half. This can get tricky because if you look here, this half, go over here and we have to have the, when you add, your denominator has to be like the same number. And so an equivalent fraction for 1/2 is 2/4. So now I have 2, 4, 5, and 5/4. And that looks silly because this is too much. So I know 5/4 is 1 1/4. We have 1 whole and 1 left over. So that's that piece. Plus the 2 that's here. So my final answer would be 3 1/4. So I went through that just so you can be aware. You may want to practice that and maybe make up your own numbers to be ready for that test. That'll probably be your toughest question, I think, on the quiz, but you can do it. I have faith in you. Question 6 says, find the distance between these 2 points. Okay, this is very similar to what we just did. The y coordinates are the same, shows that they're on the same line. So we just have to look at the 2 and the -4. So I always put the one that's furthest from 0 first, and then this one, and then I decide, do I add or subtract? These are different signs. Different means that we add them. So it's 4 plus 2, which is 6. Because absolute value is always positive. Number 7. See, that was a fast one. Draw a polygon with the vertices, and they listed them. I went ahead and put them over here so I could do it faster. So we're drawing these vertices. So don't make this hard. It just means we're going to plot them and then connect the dots. Kind of fun. Making a polygon. So this first one, A over -1, up 5. We'll put a little point. It'll be right here. And I'm going to put a little A. Then I'm going to go to B, over -6, up 5. Oh, it's that thing. There it is. There's B. Connect the dot. It doesn't have to be like completely straight. It's okay if it's like messy like that. C, -6, -4. So over to -6. Now we're going to go down to -4. Put my C. Draw my line. Oh, look at this. It's a rectangle. That's my polygon. That's my inference for what we're doing here. -1, 4. So going over to -1, down. Oh, was it supposed to be 4 or -4? I'm glad I looked. It's a -4. See, that's what's good about inferencing. That should be a negative sign. Okay, so I'm going to go -1, -4. That's my D. And since it's a polygon, I connected the dots, and that's what I'd like you to do to whatever polygon you end up making. That was mine. Okay, last question that you'll be asked. Mrs. Lee created a plan for setting up her classroom using a coordinate plane because she does stuff like that. Student tables were placed at R, S, and T. Graph and label the points to show the location of the tables. All right, so literally it's what we just did. So we got this. R, over -3, down 2. Over to -3, down to -2, label it R. S, over 4, down -2. So now I'm going over to the right to 4 because it's positive, and down to -2. And I'm going to label this S. And another one is going to be T, over 4, up 3, over 4, up 3. Okay. And if this is T. Did I do this? Yes. So I'm calling that good. Now I'm going to part B. Where should Mrs. Lee place a 4th table if she wants the tables to form a rectangle? Explain your reasoning. Okay. So rectangle, we know what that shape looks like now, right? It's going to go here. It's going to go here. And now I know, and I'm going to change the color just so you know, even if you're welcome to draw on your paper too, or you're not your paper, you know what I mean. It'll be Desmos. I'm just making it go longer, just to kind of point out where those connect. That's where I'm going to put my point. So that's my reasoning. You can show me this is why this shape makes a rectangle, but I have to label it, right? I have to say what is that coordinate. At point, let's see here. Say this, so now I got to label this point what it is. It's going to be over, you always go to the left or right first, start at the origin. I had to go over to -3, and then I had to go up to 3. Okay. Once you finish this, I made a Kahoot, and I'd like you to play that just to practice some types of questions. They're just similar to what we're doing here, so you can prepare. Or you can practice on here. No. Or I want you to do the Kahoot and then study, because you'll be ready for your test tomorrow. No, it's not a test, more a quiz. Good luck.